Right, welcome to doing some solid geometry. Right, first of all, what I'm going to look at is this idea of that little symbol. It is a first angle orthographic projection, which means that I've got a front view and a left view. Okay, this is a little cone, and if I'm looking at it with my little man over here, note he's wearing a red t-shirt, port side. Okay, the left-hand side, looking across, what does he see? He sees a small circle, and then he sees a big circle behind it, and that's what you're seeing as a left view. The left view is drawn on the right-hand side of my front view. So that over there is a front view, that over there is a left view, okay? If I had to draw a right view, I would stand on the right-hand side and I'd be looking across there. Note the green t-shirt for starboard, and what have I got there? I've got a big circle over there, and I'd have a hidden detail circle if I had to draw it in showing a right view. Where would my top view be? I would be looking down over here from the top of the front view, and I would see another little cone-shaped story as a top view. You don't need to draw all of that in. Please note, front view, left view, right view, top view. If I wanted to draw a bottom view, it would be somewhere over there at the top of the front view. Right, please note that. That is what this diagram is showing. They've told you over here that you've got a front view, okay? And note this is on the right-hand side, therefore it is a left view of that front view. They've asked you to draw that out over here, and they've given you a point 0 to start with. They also gave you a length of 40 millimeters. Now, to get that on your drawing, I'd like you just to look at some of the maths behind this. I'm just going to draw a line going over there, and a line going across over here. And I would like you to recognize this little triangle that I've drawn in over here. That is a 45 degree, that is a 45 degree. Therefore, I've got an isosceles triangle. This line that I drew out over here is reaching the midpoint of that line. Therefore, this length over here would be 20 millimeters. If that's 20 millimeters, that would be 20 millimeters from the center of that to the edge of that line. If I know that, I can then set my pair of compasses to a radius of 20 millimeters. Radius of 20 millimeters, come to that point in the center over there, draw a circle, okay? Just construction line circle over there, and I can then use my set square in order to draw in tangent lines. Let's just draw that in construction lines, just a tangent there, a tangent there, a tangent over there, a tangent over there, and I can then draw in that square knowing that I've got 40 millimeter sides. There we go. 40 millimeter sides drawn from that center 0. Right, the next thing is to draw in an XY axis. You should measure about 10 millimeters across, and you're then going to draw an XY axis using a 0.3 pencil. Right, 0.3 pencil, it is dark. It is not a light line, it is a dark line done with a 0.3 pencil, and you're going to label that X1, Y1. Right, once you've done that, I'm then going to draw some construction lines coming across from the corners over there. Right, and I'm then going to be able to measure 10 millimeters across over here, draw a line coming down over there, and it says that I've got 45 millimeters coming across, so a measure of 45 millimeters using a pair of dividers or a pair of compasses, and measure that 45 millimeters over there. I can then draw in this front view of my object. There we go. Draw that in, draw that in, draw that in. Right. Okay, now that I've done that, I'm going to then start numbering this thing. I'm going to call this corner over here right at the top, I'm going to call that number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. Right, I come over here, I'm going to put number 1 over there, number 2 over there, number 3 down at the bottom, and number 4 is in line with number 2. Right, let's have a look at this idea. I'm then going to take my little man over here and I'm going to look over here. Note, those numbers that you are seeing over there are the ones that I'm able to touch. But you'll see that there are another set of points over here at the back. And I'm going to label that. Number 1, A. Number 2, A. Number 3, A. And number 4, A. So at each of these points, I'm going to have another point. Number 1, A is behind number 1. Number 2, A is behind number 2. Number 3, A is behind number 3. And number 4, A is behind number 4. Now that's very important when we come to drawing the top view of this thing. How do we draw a top view on it? Well, I'm going to draw another XY axis over here with a 0.3 pencil. And you're going to label that as X and Y. Note that is X1, Y1. This is just plain XY over there. I'm then going to use my pair of dividers to transfer the points to find my top view. Right, I'm going to take some lines coming down from all of these points, number 1, 2, 3, and 4, coming down over here. And I'm going to take a line coming down over there from number 1A, 2A, 3A, and 4A over there. Right, my next trick is to transfer those points down into this top view. First of all, what am I looking at? Note my little bird looking down from the top, and he's able to pick this line, number 1, 1A. Right, so I come along here, and I measure from my XY axis, my X1, Y1 axis, across to where it says 1. I then find number 1. I come down to the new XY axis, and I place it down over there, and I label it as number 1. You can see that number 1A is exactly the same distance away from the XY axis. There's number 1A. Come down over here, and I'm going to place that over there, and I'm going to have number 1A at that point. Note they are two separate points, okay? Although they are a point view, in other words, I'm looking at a line over here, I'm looking at it, I've got number 1 over there, and number 1A behind it. There it is, I'm looking at the point view, I've got number 1 at that end, 1A at that end. There it is. Right, same story over here, let's go to number 2. Extend your pair of compasses out, there's number 2. Find number 2 over here, come down to the XY axis over here, and mark it off down over here. I haven't extended that line out enough. Let's just extend that down a little bit more. And there is number 2 over here. There's number 2. Number 2A is the same distance away from the XY axis. There's number 2A. Bring it down to the XY axis. Label it on this view, number 2A. Right. Number 3. And number 3A, there's number 3. Come down to the XY axis. Note, it is on exactly the same point as number 1. So I've got number 3 over there. And number 3A, come down to the XY axis. Note, measure from 3A to the XY axis. Find 3A, come down to the new XY axis over here. That point is exactly at the same point as 1A. Right, why is that? My little bird looking down over here sees number 1A. Directly below 1A is point 3A. 1A and 3A, they're in the same line. Same thing with this. Number 1 and 3, they're in the same line, so it's a point view over there. Right, the last points that we need are number 4 and 4A. There's number 4, that distance from the XY axis. There's number 4, come down to the new XY axis, and number 4 is over there. Number 4 is that distance from the XY axis. There's 4A, come down to the new XY axis over here, and mark it off. There is 4A over there. Right. What am I going to do? I'm going to look over here and I'm going to say, well, what line am I first seeing? It is 1A. So I can draw in that line going from there to there. Tell me, 3 and 3A, is it still there? It is in the picture, but it's directly below 1, 1A. Looking down, see this? 1, 1A is covering over 3, 3A. 1, 1A is covering over 3, 3A. It is directly below it. Therefore, there would be a line in hidden detail showing 3, 3A, but you can't see it because of that line at the top. These two lines over here are the edges coming across, and you'll see that those two lines are also parallel to the XY axis. And we're going to look at that idea in a few seconds. I can draw the edge of this thing and the edge of this thing. Right, there it is. There's me looking across on the left-hand side, and I'm seeing number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Note, if I had to draw the top of my head over there, there's the top of my head with my peak over there. I'm pointing across at this thing. There's my arm. Note, I'm still on the left-hand side, and I've still got those numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4. On the other side of this, on the right-hand side of it, you can see the 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A. All right, same thing over here, 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A. This view over here, these numbers over here, 1, 2, 3, and 4, they are the ones that I'm physically touching. These other numbers, they are behind those 1, 2, 3, and 4. So number 1A, 2A, 3A, and 4A are behind the thing. There they are behind. I hope that that helps you to draw this thing.